Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Roselli Show. I'm excited to welcome to the program Rob Roselli. Rob, how are you? We are part of Corona-geddon as it continues to go crazy, especially everyone is home, and it's just each week. But I just think what President Trump said yesterday, I think calms me. The market went up 1,500 points. I wonder why all of these people that want to shut everything down and not work and get paid for it believe that this is the best thing for the country to just be safe when we don't know everything about this virus. And if it's killing lots of old people, let's figure out how we can save those lives and not disrupt an entire economy, Rob.
Well, I mean, now you get into epidemiology and microbiology, and there's a plethora of information out there. A lot of it conflicts with each other about the virus itself. So, I'm not sure how deeply I want to delve into that.
No, we don't want to do
Trump,
that.
Trump, Trump,
Yeah.
Trump's got a lot of information, obviously, to answer your question. But, let me just say this. I don't know. To be honest with you, I mean, I got to do a little bit more looking into it, and I'm all the sources that I read, Natural News, Infowars, Steve Quayle. I mean, I don't have any connections to those sites. Just people know I don't need money. That's on my source. I mean, they all seem to. There's a lot of conflicting information. I put very little stock, obviously, into the so-called mainstream news. Even Fox News, I take with a grain of salt. But anyway, to answer your question, there are certainly people that are wishing for the positive for this virus. As I've been saying, these people are death merchants. They're radical abortionists. They're radical environmentalists, and this virus is a means to an end to literally kill off Trump, his wife, Mike Pence, Rand Paul. As we saw, this Pelosi's oldest daughter tweeted out yesterday, I believe it was, you know, about Rand Paul, who apparently does have the virus or at least tested positive for it. And she's essentially saying this is Pelosi's oldest daughter. I mean, an adult wishing he was dead, and of course, all the people wishing Trump was dead and Rush Limbaugh was dead. And at some point, Neil, there's a pattern emerging here. And of course, a lot of them want to keep the abortion clinics open. So again, these are death merchants. Characteristic of their father, the father of death himself, Satan. Okay, and I mean that literally at this point. I don't care what people think, and whatever. Live in your reality. If your reality is Nancy Pelosi, then that's your problem. But anyway, again, once again, boxofsunglasses.com, God's simple salvation plan. So it's really the most important thing. The creator of the
Yes,
universe is in
definitely.
control of this whole mess,
Mhm.
and a mess it is.
Yeah,
And I do have.
they'd like to see the economy just completely drop just so they can gain control and make it a place where they're in complete control of us. And that's what they want most about this. And for people to want government control, want checks, they just want to live their lives and really have no sense of what freedom is.
Well, that's exactly correct. I mean, the people, again, we discussed this in past shows. I mean, Nazism, fascism, communism, whatever terms the so-called academic experts assign to these different systems. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, they're all the same. It's like the Dillingers and the Capones, controlling Chicago. I mean, does it really make a difference if you're living under the Nazis or the communists? When they were in existence, I mean, does it really make a difference? I'm getting at. I mean, they're all about centralized government control, and these people are no different. And let me just say this, just to kind of diverge. I'm not trying to belittle the coronavirus at all, but we only have limited time here on the show every week, obviously, and I mean you can get 24/7 coverage on Fox News and whatnot. But let's just take a little bit of a turn here and look at what's going on behind the scenes, and remember, Nancy, these other idiots are still out there, okay? And I don't know if anybody caught this yesterday, many people, but Nancy Pelosi was on there at the 10th anniversary of Obamacare, lauding how great it was. And I got to tell you something, Neil, and Lord forgive me for saying this, but and this is for Pelosi and Schumer and the people that take these people seriously. I don't know what else to say. I mean, and this is the conspiracy. Forgive me for saying this, but what a bunch of assholes. I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it. Um, excuse my French, but I don't know what to say at this point. Well, I watching Pelosi try and defend and laud Obamacare in the middle of this whole mess, and she had the audacity to get up there and say it's amongst the other pillars of our centralized federal government, like Social Security. Let me tell you as an example. For her to get up there and have the audacity to say that Obamacare, along with Social Security, is some kind of pillar of this country and this economy, again, if you're stupid enough to believe Nancy Pelosi, then I really cannot help you. Okay, if you're listening, and I'm not trying to deify Trump. I'm not some Republican, hack or anything. These Republican senators that apparently traded before the virus came, and they should all be properly punished. I'm not saying that. I don't want to be political. I'm just saying Pelosi as the face, as the Botox face of the quote conspiracy, what she is right now. I mean, she's a front person for the criminal overlords. Let's just cut the crap. Um, if you're dumb enough to follow her and believe her after that speech yesterday, it was really cringeworthy, and that's saying something. Watching these people, day after day. Social Security, for example, is literally bankrupt. I mean, I think it was Bill Clinton. Remember, I did not have sex with that woman, Bill Clinton, selling all our secrets to the Chinese, who then sold to Iran and North Korea. And, that could be a story in and of itself, about where, the coronavirus really came from. But anyway, that's the story for another day to really talk about. But anyway, I did not have sex with that woman, Bill Clinton, and all this other stuff. But for her to get up there and say that, and Clinton, I believe it was the one, that's why I brought up his name, was that basically switched the government accounting system that Social Security, income into Social Security could be counted as income to the federal government. So in other words, the reason people say, oh, the debt went down or Clinton controlled the national debt is because he changed how it was calculated. He took money that the government was ostensibly saving for us imbeciles because we're too stupid to save for ourselves in this scam called Social Security. They were taking that money out and spending it on other things and covering up other expenses with it. I mean, they're just playing with the numbers. It's a joke. So in other words, Social Security is bankrupt. Okay, the only way it continues to operate is because they keep borrowing more fake money from the Federal Reserve scam to keep the whole thing going. So and it doesn't. You don't need to dig that deep. You don't have to be some CIA operative or some James Bond 007 to figure this stuff out. But the way they get away with it, and there's that word "they" again, after my favorite movie, They Live.
Yes.
They rely on the education system to dumb people down so much so that this plastic Botox face hypocrite, this bloodthirsty pro-abortionist Pelosi can get up there with a fake plastic face and lie to 200, 300 million people in the middle of a crisis about how great Obama and care and Social Security are. I mean, again, if you're dumb enough to buy into this, I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. Your heart is hardened. You're just like Pharaoh, the Old Testament. It's the same principle. If you go back and you read the book of Exodus, and it's like, you look at Pharaoh, it's like, what's the deal with this guy? Doesn't this guy take a hint? But no, because God hardened his heart. It's the same principle here. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, I mean, she might be able to physically see, but spiritually, her heart is hardened. She's shot. She's gone. And I'm just using her as an example. I mean, Chuck Schumer's another one. Remember a few weeks ago, Schumer was out there, in front of the Supreme Court with a bunch of abortion maniacs screaming, oh, Gorsuch and I think it was Kavanaugh, you're going to pay and you're going to reap the whirlwind, trying to quote the Old Testament. I mean, Chuck, you better be real careful of that, just as a sidebar. But anyway, they were, the gist of what I was able to read on what he was protesting, they were looking to overturn Roe versus Wade. What they were voting on was just a simple, I think it was out of Louisiana. They were challenging the constitutionality of the state of Louisiana to have a requirement that abortion clinics must have emergency room admitting privileges. Okay. And remember a few weeks ago, we talked about a case where a baby was born alive in an abortion clinic. The abortion doctor was out. I guess he was playing golf or it was a day off or something. So the workers in the clinic, the baby was born alive. They stuffed it in a biohazard bag, filled it with chemicals, the caustic chemicals, I guess the baby could corrode and suffocate while it was alive, and threw it on the roof of the building. All right. So, in other words, for that woman whose life was in danger, I don't know if she died or not. But that, just as an example, that woman and that baby, that abortion clinic apparently is not required to have emergency room admitting privileges. Now, why would Chuck Schumer, the bloodthirsty, and I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Yeah, you're in a different.
Why would
You
he
have
be
all the time in the world in these podcasts. You're going to be doing the next couple of weeks promoting your books and everything. Yeah, I know.
Why would he oppose that? Okay, you have to ask the question: why would he oppose that? Such a bill. It's just basic humanity. But these people aren't human, as I've been saying. The reason you would oppose it, because if you think about it, what's going to happen is all these women who are getting butchered at Planned Parenthood, many of them black women, by the way, because as I've stated, the overwhelming blacks are overwhelmingly represented way out of proportion to their population, because, as I've stated, I mean, abortion grew out of the American eugenics movement, which grew out of social Darwinism and evolution, that basically blacks are subhuman and deserve to be killed. That's just what Margaret Sanger said, and she's the founder of Planned Parenthood. I mean, you can read that. I mean, I got the quotes on my website, and they're all documented. But anyway, many of these women that are getting butchered would start showing up in hospitals, and people might start to think, hey, wait a second, like, what the blank is going on here at these abortion clinics? I mean, these women are all showing up in these emergency rooms, butchered with babies and pieces of babies and whatever disgusting things go on inside these so-called women's healthcare facilities. That's what Chuck Schumer is against. He's against saving women's lives that go in for abortions. And the only logical reason I could think of is because he's so far gone, that he's so bloodthirsty and so full of bloodlust and hate and death, that his only thing is that he needs to protect abortion, even if it costs the lives and the health of tens of thousands of young women throughout the nation and their offspring. And this is the people that are trying to run the country. Okay. And speaking of that, and who are they fronting for? And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the ultimate image of the beast. And I mean, I'm not saying he's the devil and he's running around with horns. Okay. The image is, what was Nancy Pelosi celebrating? Just to kind of circle back to her, Barack Obama. Okay. And Obama's out there saying how great he is. Wow. His ego he cannot control his own ego, that guy. And I'll just conclude with that, and we'll leave it for future shows. But again, these are the people that are opposing Trump. So again, this has spilled over into the spiritual realm. As far as I'm concerned, these people are devils. They might be human on the face of it, but just like Judas Iscariot, and I'm not saying they're running around with capes and horns on their heads and this sort of thing. I'm just like Judas Iscariot, he chose Satan over Jesus himself. He was at the Last Supper. He saw the miracles, and I'm saying these people are of the same mindset, and these people are gone. Okay, and it's getting to the point where God is elongating or stretching out what's going on and what's going to go on. Actually, out of his infinite mercy, people say, "Why is God doing this, or why does He allow this?" Well, He's giving people an opportunity to contrast His plan and His salvation versus people like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and their overlords who are controlling it. Right. Remember Schumer, remember he warned Trump about the intelligence agencies, which, we now know as deep state, what I call the un-American genocidal complex. But anyway, I'll shut up now.
All right, boxofsunglasses.com. Pick up Rob's books by there. Check him out on social media, on Twitter and stuff. And it's good talking to you, Rob, and best of luck. And let's see what next week brings. Take care.
All right, Neil. Thanks a lot.
All right, you're listening to the Rob Roselli Show, and we'll talk next week.